What if Wayne Gretzky played in today's NHL? In the history of sports, there was not another athlete that was as dominant as Wayne Gretzky. When he retired, Wayne Gretzky held or shared 61 NHL records, 40 in the regular season and 15 for the Stanley Cup playoffs. There is no GOAT debate for hockey, it's Wayne Gretzky and then everyone else. In this video, I will be putting Wayne Gretzky back on the Edmonton Oilers to see how good he would be in today's NHL. Heading into his rookie season, Wayne Gretzky is a 97 overall. At the end of year number 1, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 45, 29, and 8. Wayne Gretzky had a great rookie season, scoring 65 goals, 63 assists for 128 points in 82 games. Unfortunately, the Oilers would lose in the third round in 5 games to the Colorado Avalanche. Gretzky would have 13 goals and 7 assists for 20 points in 17 games in the postseason. And somehow, the Columbus Blue Jackets are your Stanley Cup champions in year number 1. Gretzky would collect the Rocket Richard Trophy in his rookie year. Heading into his second season, Gretzky is now a 98 overall. At the end of year 2, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 52, 23, and 7. Gretzky had a down year to his standards, only scoring 52 goals, 48 assists for 100 points in 82 games. Meanwhile, Connor McDavid had 61 points and 82 assists for 143 points. But in my simulation, he couldn't crack 90 points. Okay, EA Sports. And yet again, the Edmonton Oilers would lose in the third round to the Colorado Avalanche. And the Colorado Avalanche have won the Stanley Cup. Gretzky had 7 goals, 8 assists for 15 points in 16 games in the playoffs. Heading into his third season, Gretzky is a 98 overall. At the end of year number 3, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 43, 33, and 6. Gretzky would have 52 goals, 53 assists for 105 points in 82 games. And the Edmonton Oilers will be playing the Buffalo Sabres in the Stanley Cup Finals. And in year number 3, the Edmonton Oilers will win the Stanley Cup. Gretzky's first cup of his career. And your Conn Smythe winner is Connor McDavid, not Wayne Gretzky, okay. But here he is, the great one, coming to lift his first Stanley Cup in his career. Wait, why is he wearing number 98? Despite not winning the Conn Smythe, Wayne Gretzky had one of the greatest postseasons of all time. He scored 24 goals, 15 assists for 39 points in 27 games. McDavid had 41 points, but only 13 goals. I don't know how EA Sports decides who gets the Conn Smythe, but whatever system they use is obviously flawed. Gretzky had 24 goals in 27 games. Absolutely insane stats. Heading into year number 4, Wayne Gretzky is a 98 overall. He couldn't get bumped up to 99 even after winning a Stanley Cup. So I guess we'll have to settle with 98. At the end of year number 4, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 37, 38, and 7, which unfortunately was only good enough for 7th in their division. They must have had a Stanley Cup hangover. Wayne Gretzky had a terrible season to his standards, only scoring 49 goals, 43 assists for 92 points in 82 games. And the Tampa Bay Lightning are your Stanley Cup champions. Heading into year number 5, Wayne Gretzky is a 98 overall. And it looks like Connor McDavid has left the team through free agency this summer. At the end of year number 5, the Edmonton Oilers had another absolute terrible season. The Edmonton Oilers went 36, 42, and 4, which was only good enough for 8th in their division. Gretzky finished the season with 61 goals, 40 assists for 101 points in 82 games. And the Tampa Bay Lightning go back-to-back as they are the Stanley Cup champions. Heading into year number 6, Wayne Gretzky is a 98 overall. At the end of year number 6, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 50, 25, and 7. A really good bounce-back season compared to the last 2 seasons that were very disappointing. Despite winning 50 games, Wayne Gretzky only scored 51 goals, had 48 assists for 99 points in 82 games. And the Edmonton Oilers are in the Stanley Cup Final against the Carolina Hurricanes. And the Edmonton Oilers were swept in the Stanley Cup Final, which means the Carolina Hurricanes are your Stanley Cup champions. Gretzky had a great playoff run, scoring 19 goals, 9 assists for 28 points in 21 games. Heading into his 7th season, Wayne Gretzky is a 98 overall. At the end of year number 7, the Edmonton Oilers had an incredible season, going 59, 15, and 8. Gretzky tallied 51 goals, 55 assists for 106 points in 82 games. And the Edmonton Oilers are back in the Stanley Cup Final, this time against the powerhouse Tampa Bay Lightning. And we're all tied up at 3 apiece as we head into Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And that'll do it. The Edmonton Oilers are your Stanley Cup champions. Gretzky is now a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. And your Conn Smythe winner is, of course, Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky, 2-time Stanley Cup champion. There we go. In 26 games in the postseason, Wayne Gretzky recorded 18 goals, 26 assists for 44 points. He had an absolute monster playoff run. Wayne Gretzky would collect the Art Ross Trophy, the Hart Trophy, the Conn Smythe Trophy, and the Ted Lindsay Award all in the same season. This was an absolute huge year for Gretzky's career. Heading into year 8, Wayne Gretzky is a 98 overall. I don't know how after a season like that, Wayne Gretzky is not a 99 overall. He had one of the best seasons in NHL history last season, but yet he's not a 99 overall. At the end of year 8, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 57, 24, and 1. Gretzky finished with 54 goals, 55 assists for 109 points in 82 games. And the Edmonton Oilers are back in the exact same position, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, this time against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And they've done it! The Edmonton Oilers are your back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, with Gretzky capturing his 3rd Stanley Cup. And Peyton LeDuc is the Conn Smythe winner. That is bizarre. Third Stanley Cup, baby. Wayne Gretzky would have 13 goals, 12 assists for 25 points in 22 games in the postseason. Gretzky would collect the Hart Trophy and the Ted Lindsay Award. Heading into year 9, Wayne Gretzky is a 98 overall. At the end of year number 9, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 51, 26, and 5. Gretzky exploded this season, scoring 54 goals, 68 assists for 122 points in 82 games. By far his best season to date. Unfortunately, the Oilers will not three-peat as they lose in the second round to the LA Kings. And the Detroit Red Wings are your Stanley Cup champions. In the playoffs, Gretzky had 10 goals, 8 assists for 18 points in 12 games. Gretzky would take home the Art Ross Trophy, the Hart Trophy, the Ted Lindsay Award, and the Maurice Richard Trophy. Heading into year 10, Wayne Gretzky is a 98 overall. At the end of year 10, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 42, 29, and 11. Gretzky had 59 goals, 46 assists for 105 points in 82 games. The Oilers are currently up 3-0 on the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Stanley Cup Finals. And the Edmonton Oilers are your Stanley Cup champions yet again. Gretzky tying his record in real life for 4 Stanley Cups. And Wayne Gretzky is your Conn Smythe winner. And here it is, Lord Stanley for the 4th time. Wayne Gretzky will lift the Stanley Cup yet again. In the playoffs, Gretzky had 16 goals, 19 assists for 35 points in 22 games. He was absolutely dominant. Gretzky would take home the Art Ross Trophy, the Hart Trophy, and the Ted Lindsay Award. Heading into year 11, Wayne Gretzky is a 98 overall. I just finished watching the Sweden-Finland game, and oh my god, did Finland ever choke that. They had it in the bag, too. Damn, that's tough. At the end of year 11, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 47, 28, and 7. Gretzky had another great year, scoring 61 goals, 40 assists for 101 points in 82 games. But somehow the Oilers would lose in the first round to the Arizona Coyotes. And the Ottawa Senators are your Stanley Cup champions. Gretzky would take home the Art Ross Trophy, the Hart Trophy, the Ted Lindsay Award, and the Maurice Richard Trophy. Another clean sweep on the individual awards. Heading into year 12, Wayne Gretzky is still a 98 overall. At the end of year 12, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 51, 24, and 7. Gretzky had a down year, only scoring 42 goals, 44 assists for 86 points in 82 games. And the Oilers will lose in the second round to the Seattle Kraken. And the Vegas Golden Knights have won the Stanley Cup. In the playoffs, Gretzky had 8 goals, 10 assists for 18 points in 13 games. Heading into year 13, Wayne Gretzky is a 98 overall. At the end of year 13, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 52, 28, and 2. Gretzky scored 62 goals, 42 assists for 104 points in 82 games. And the Edmonton Oilers will lose in the third round to the Nashville Predators. And the Predators will win the Stanley Cup. In the playoffs, Gretzky had 11 goals, 8 assists for 19 points in 17 games. The Great One would pick up the Maurice Richard Trophy. Heading into year 14, Wayne Gretzky is a 98 overall. And he is currently in his last year of his contract. At the end of year 14, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 56, 28, and 8. Gretzky yet again was dominant, scoring 64 goals, 42 assists for 106 points in 82 games. But unfortunately, the Oilers would lose in the second round of the Seattle Kraken, and the Red Wings win the Stanley Cup. In the playoffs, Gretzky had 11 goals, 3 assists for 14 points in 10 games. Gretzky would pick up the Hart Trophy, the Art Ross Trophy, the Maurice Richard Trophy, and the Ted Lindsay Award. Heading into year 15, it looks like Wayne Gretzky decided to re-sign with the Edmonton Oilers and is currently a 98 overall. At the end of year 15, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 53, 23, and 6. Gretzky finished with 50 goals, 48 assists for 98 points in 82 games. And the Oilers would lose in the third round to the Nashville Predators. And of course, the Nashville Predators end up winning the Stanley Cup. In the playoffs, Gretzky had 11 goals, 8 assists for 19 points in 17 games. Heading into year 16, Wayne Gretzky has finally regressed, at least a little bit, to a 96 overall. Austin Matthews also joined the Edmonton Oilers. Would never see that one coming. At the end of year 16, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 51, 27, and 4. Gretzky had a great year, scoring 58 goals, 60 assists for 118 points in 82 games. But unfortunately, the Oilers would lose in the first round to the San Jose Sharks. And the Montreal Canadiens are your Stanley Cup champions. Gretzky would collect the Hart Trophy, the Art Ross Trophy, the Maurice Richard Trophy, and the Ted Lindsay Award. Heading into year 16, Wayne Gretzky has dropped yet again, this time to a 95 overall. At the end of year 17, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 52, 26, and 4. Gretzky had yet again another huge year, scoring 65 goals, 63 assists for 128 points in 82 games. And the Oilers are back in the Stanley Cup final, this time against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers will win their 5th Stanley Cup. And your Conn Smythe winner is, of course, Wayne Gretzky. This is the moment that he's been waiting for. The Great One beats his real-life record of 4 Stanley Cups. Finally captures his 5th. In the playoffs, Gretzky had 18 goals, 21 assists for 39 points in 23 games. This was all in his 17th season. Wayne Gretzky would pick up the Hart Trophy, the Art Ross Trophy, the Maurice Richard Trophy, and the Ted Lindsay Award, all in his 17th year. Heading into year 18, Wayne Gretzky is dropped to a 93 overall. At the end of year 18, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 46, 32, and 4. Gretzky would have a down year, only scoring 37 goals, 44 assists for 81 points in 82 games. A big drop off from last season. And the Oilers would lose in the second round to the Vegas Golden Knights. Gretzky had 6 goals, 9 assists for 15 points in 13 games in the playoffs. And the Carolina Hurricanes are your Stanley Cup champions. Heading into year 19, Wayne Gretzky has dropped yet again, this time to a 92 overall. At the end of year 19, the Edmonton Oilers finished with a record of 42, 35, and 5. Gretzky had a bounce-back season, scoring 64 goals, 55 assists for 119 points in 82 games. And the Oilers were swept in round number 1 to the Calgary Flames. And the Buffalo Sabres are your Stanley Cup champions. Gretzky would pick up the Hart Trophy, the Art Ross Trophy, the Maurice Richard Trophy, and the Ted Lindsay Award. And just like that, it looks like Wayne Gretzky wants to ride off in the sunset. After 19 seasons, he calls it a career. The Great One played 1,558 games. He scored 1,051 goals and had 957 assists for a total of 2,008 points. In the playoffs, he scored 192 goals, 169 assists for 361 points in only 272 games. In his career, Gretzky would rack up the hardware, finishing his career with 8 Art Ross trophies, 9 Hart trophies, 9 Ted Lindsay trophies, 7 Maurice Richard trophies, 3 Conn Smythe trophies, and 5 Stanley Cups. Let me know in the comments below what player I should do next. And remember, don't be silly, wrap your willy.